Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? Dignal. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the effect you have just seen on screen. Now, before we get into the video, I'd just like to remind you guys that only about 50% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So it really would help me out if you were to just go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below, you know? Really would help me out. And yeah, without further ado, let's get actually straight into the tutorial. So let me just move my mic here. And here we go. So once I have opened up my After Effects here, this is going to be an After Effects tutorial, just so you guys know. This effect is not possible to do in Vegas, or at least not as well. So I'm opting to use After Effects for this tutorial. So as you can see, right here, I have just gone ahead and added the Twixter, and I've gone ahead and rotoscoped my skin. So as you can see, I've just made a normal track here, and I've just slowed it down. I've slowed the track down with Twixter when the character drags out the shotgun. And I have a little like slow-mo pause here where the speed is set to 20, then I have the actual impact here. And what I've done is I've just duplicated this, I've cut off the corners here that I don't want the skin to be roto-brushed on, and then I'm just going ahead and roto-brushed this part. Now if you don't know how to roto-brush, it's very, very easy. Just go ahead and go to the first frame here, you just double-click on this layer, it'll open up this, and now you just go ahead and click on the roto-brush tool up here. And you just go ahead and start outlining the skin. If you want to delete one of the outlines, you just hold Alt, and you can hold Control and then just drag in and out to increase or decrease the pen size. There are many more other in-depth tutorials that you can use for that, but overall, if you don't know how to do it, this is just look at one of those tutorials really. Now, once you've gone to this point, the first thing I want to do is add an adjustment layer right here. Now, we want this adjustment layer to start just sort of a bit before the Twixter and end sort of like here, I guess, like sort of like this. Alright, the first effect we're going to add is this right here. It is called CC Radial Blur. Just go ahead and drag this onto the adjustment layer. Now, the type we're going to be setting to a rotate fading, and the amount will be set to like 15, and the quality to 100. Now, this is just going to sort of rotate it around, I guess. And what we actually want to do is just set the middle point right here where the sort of the mask will come in. We're going to want to just keyframe that right here. The amount set to 15, and then we go to the start right here, set it to 0. And then we go right here to the end and set it to 0 as well. Now, once you're done with that, it should sort of be like that. And what we're going to go ahead and do is just easy ease all of these. And we're going to want to sort of like drag that in right there and drag that in right there. Drag that in as well. Drag that in. And overall, it should just be sort of like that. Pretty smooth, I guess. Now you're going to want to add some blur mode curves to this to sort of get rid of the black outline. So just go ahead and go to the start right here. Keyframe the Z distance. Go ahead and drag the adjustment layer out until the impact, which will be right here. And then just go ahead and go up here, set the Z distance to 0.9, and just make sure there's no black. You can set this like 0.88 as well, just sort of get rid of any extra black. Go to the end and set the Z distance to 1. Now just go ahead and graph edit these, just make sure that it's sort of smooth, you know. It should be sort of like that, sort of like that, sort of like that. And now, if we just go ahead and play it back, it should be fairly smooth. Obviously, it's going to be... My PC isn't fucking good enough to real-time render the rotoscope and the Twixter. But it should be smooth when it's coming in, and it shouldn't be too jerky at all. Now, let's get started with the actual effect on the skin. And this is going to be this track right here. So, what you're going to want to do is just duplicate this twice. So, duplicate. And you should have 3 of these layers. Now, go ahead and go over to the mode right here to the left and set the bottom one to add and set the top one to add as well. Now, on the top track, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is go into Effects and Presets and search for Find Edges. Just go ahead and drag that onto the top. Now, just go ahead and invert this, just like that. And you should be good with that. Now just go ahead and go into your effects tab once again and search for CloudsPsyko. Just go and drag that onto here. And now just go ahead and set the frequency to 0.15, set the frequency X to 0.4. And I'm going to go ahead and I have all the settings on my right monitor here because there's just too many to keep track of. So I'm just looking over at them. I could put them in the description as well if you guys are really interested in that, so they will be down there as well. Now if we go ahead and go down here, we set the clouds only to Mult, and we have that at normal, then copy it input. And once we have all of that, it should look something like that. It should be pretty clean. Now what we're gonna add to this is some deep glow. Now just go ahead and just drag that on. And it should be pretty clean, just like that. We set that to just like 251. You can go and play around with this. The blend mode should be set to screen, of course, but it should be, you know, pretty bright. It shouldn't be, you know, too bright, but you can just go ahead and fuck around with that if you so desire. Now, for the bottom track down here, we're going to drag Deep Glow onto this as well. Roughly the same settings, I would say. But for this bottom track, we are also going to be adding some Turbulent Displace. Now, this is for the sort of fiery thing, I guess you could call it. It's a bit, yeah, whatever, sort of like that. Now, the settings you're going to want to copy right here are the amount, 139. The size will be 40. And the complexity will be 6,3. So once you have all of that, it should sort of look like a fiery sort of thing, I guess you could call it. And overall, it's just a very, very cool effect. So now for the background, just continuing on with the color, we're going to add another adjustment layer for the color, or for the background. And we add an adjustment layer, drag that underneath all of the rotoscoped tracks, if it'll let me do that. So just drag that underneath, go ahead and cut it right on the peak of here. So just cut it right there. And now just go ahead and go to the end of the actual impact right there. And just go ahead and go into your video effects or effects and presets, whatever. And we're going to search for BCC Halftone. If that is going to go ahead and load. Anyway, Halftone is going to sort of add this cool black and white sort of effect that you have seen in the intro. So just go ahead and apply that, and it should look sort of like that. You can go and play around with these with the settings right here if you want to, but I find that the default settings are actually pretty cool. Now, this is probably just a rotoscope error, I'm assuming. I'm not actually entirely sure, but it definitely does look like a rotoscope error. Now, the last thing we're going to actually do is make a final adjustment layer right here. And we're going to just end that there, and end that there. And we are going to add one more as well. We just duplicate this, drag that towards the end. And I'm going to go into Fix and Presets and go into Animation Presets, User Presets. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply a tilt impact to that. Now, we should be good to go from here, I think. I'm not entirely sure where the tilt impact is from, so I can't really send it to you guys. But what we want to do now is actually take care of the zoom in to the right and just sort of the general flicker and some other stuff like that. So what we're going to do is go into our Effects and Presets tab and search for Lens Blur. Now, we sort of want to alterate this. We want it to be just sort of like dynamic, I guess you could call it. So I set this to just 5 towards the start, just like that. Just keyframe it, go down to like 2 here, up to like 2.5, I guess. Like, just go ahead and play around with these. You want it to sort of flicker. And then right here, we just set it to like 0.5. Set it to like 2 again. And then finally 0 at the end. Just go ahead and play around with that. Do whatever you think looks good. I'm actually just going to go ahead and change all the impact settings here. Just like that. Just make sure that the actual thing is there. Now, for the actual zoom in to the right side, we're going to be using Blur Mo Curves. So just go ahead and search for that. Just go and apply that to the same adjustment layer right here. And we want this to just actually sort of start at the start, obviously. So just keyframe the Z distance. Go to like here, where the a bit before the actual impact starts. Set the Z distance like 0.8. If we just go ahead and wait for this to load for just a second here, We should be fine. We should be fine. But just go ahead and set these to 0.8. And then on the actual kill right here, just set this to 1. Now, what we want to do is, it is very, very important that we actually just go ahead and graph edit these, because they do tend to get very, very linear once we actually play it back, which just will not be possible given the effect of the fucking thing to my PC. Alright, anyway, like this should be very, very smooth. So what we sort of want to do with this is we want to drag this all the way to the right, just like that, and drag the right one all the way in. Maybe not that much, but definitely quite a bit. I honestly hate my PC right now. It is what it is, though. I'll probably be cutting this out, most of it. But just go ahead and make it as smooth as you can, just to sort of make sure that it looks smooth. Like, what the fuck? I'm literally just waffling right now. There's like just not much I can do about it. But anyway, once you've added the balloon curves and just sort of adjusted it like that, we're going to be adding some flicker. Honestly, just add default flicker on this and just fucking pray that it works, really. I'd set the amplitude to probably a bit lower than default, and I'd set the frequency to like 15. So I'd set the amplitude to like 0.15 and the frequency to like 12. So let's set that to 0.15, and bro, like, fucking hell, I need to get a new PC. So yeah, donation link will be in the description. Also my OnlyFans link, it would be much, much appreciated if you were to subscribe to my OnlyFans. Only about $5 right now, and there are some very juicy pictures on there. Random frequency, set that to 12, and at this point, honestly, we should be good to go. I am not going to play this back because I'm fairly certain that my house will blow up. But yeah, that is about it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, stuff down below, comment, subscribe, all that good shit, and I'll see you guys in a couple days, and peace.